afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another episode of It's Not Me, It's You at lovethebeatradio.co. Thank you so much for the new listeners who now are tuning in on a Monday, lunchtime, morning, afternoon. So I have with me a very exciting guest. You don't understand. I'm genuinely excited. It's like when you date men. Like, choose the ones that you like because you're going to have a lot more fun. So I'm here with a TikTok, Instagram sensation at Diary of M on TikTok and at diary_of_M on Instagram. How are you doing?
Hello, I am good. How are you?
I'm so happy you're here. So this girl, obviously, you know, you're scrolling through TikTok, sometimes voluntarily, sometimes not, because TikTok will just, you know, suck you out of your life, make you lose track of time.
Oh, sure.
But between her relaxing ASMR-ish French accent, her beautiful face, her sense of humor, and the most insightful stories that she tells on her channel, you cannot stop watching her content. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the character she does, but there's one with a mustache. It kills me. It just kind of sticks the tongue out every now and again. It's killer. So she is, one of the things that what made you so well known is that she started telling her story about working as a stripper in London. And she calls it stripper, which I love.
Stripper. I have to
stripper.
on TikTok.
Oh, really?
That's why people are like, why do you know stripper? And I'm like, I know, I'm not that dumb. You know, it's just because we have to on TikTok. If not, you get banned because they don't want that kind of.
So you can't be a stripper, or you can be a stripper.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like saying, you know, I'm not a whore, I'm a hoe.
I'm a hoe. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so she tells the most like fun stories, and also what's so cool, and this is one of the things we were talking when we first met, is that she shows that, you know, just like you can work as a stripper and be a smart businesswoman who's independent, down to earth, and a noble, kind human being, you can be somebody working in an office and be an a-hole who is also using her body to, or not also, even worse, who you're using your body to get where you want to be in life, and you've lost your dignity, you've lost your self-respect, your freedom, and, you know, your heart. So this girl has it all, the dignity, the heart, the brains. Tell us how you started. So you're from a town close to Marseille, right?
Yeah. Well, I would like to start by thank you. My head is going to get like really big with all your compliments.
You deserve it. You deserve it. I told you I'm a fan. Not going to lie.
Literally. Thank you so much for all your kind words. But yeah, I'm originally from France.
Yeah.
I was born in Aubagne, which is like a really small town near Marseille. So I grew up in the south of France. Can't really tell you exactly where because my parents split, so I moved there like many times.
Okay.
But at 18, I made a decision to move to the United Kingdom. I was like, yeah, I'm bored of my small town.
What was the perception of the UK that you had? Like, was it like, you know, like I'm from South America, so for us it was the United States. It was like the land of the rich, the land of the happening. That's where you can make it doing anything.
Yeah. So to be fair, it was like that for me as well. So when I was like 10 years old, I was watching like Sex and the City, and then I was like, this is the life that I want.
Jesus.
So my dream was to go to New York, okay? But obviously when you're from Europe, moving to the States is like quite complicated. And then I had this opportunity. I met this like photographer when I was 18, like an English guy living in France.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I really want to speak English, like as well. Like, you know, it's my dream. Like, I would do like fake interview in my room when I was like younger, like speaking like fake English, literally. And I was like, oh my God, I really want to speak English. And he was like, oh, do you know what? My sister is going back to the UK and she's looking for like a nanny. Would you be interested? And I was like, hell
whatever,
yeah.
I'm interested in your sister and her kid and the nanny, whatever.
Literally. And but I didn't have any like picture of the UK. To me, it was like the United States.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what the UK was, you know. I was like, okay, let's go. Let's speak English.
Especially like we didn't know that London and the UK are different countries. It's like, have you traveled around the UK?
Yeah, tiny bits.
When you go out, it's like, where am I? It's
Yeah.
like, you know, the Gothic churches and, you know, everybody looks the same. Every town looks the same.
Yeah.
They have an obsession with small things, small cars, small houses, small towns.
Because you're from the States, it's the same all
Exactly.
around Europe.
Yeah, it's all tiny. We need bigger roads, bigger cars, you know, G-Wagon, you know.
But us, when we go to the States, that's
like,
the thing, we're like, oh my God, everything
I'm
is
getting
so
lost
big.
in this
I'm
place.
getting lost. But literally when I came to London, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in Harry Potter. Like, I didn't realize that so many movies were in England. I thought everything was American.
Yeah,
you know, I didn't even
they
know
have
about
no
the
street
UK.
credit. Nobody knows them.
Literally.
You don't even know like the actors. Like I thought Kate Winslet was American.
Yeah.
'Cause let's be honest, they get more work out there. So then they have to do characters with an American accent.
True.
I know you know this because you want to be an actress too. Coming soon on theaters and DVD.
Oh my God.
So and what were you doing? How long were you? How old were you when you moved to the UK?
18 years old there.
Oh, okay. So wait, you told me that you started stripping at 28.
28, so yeah, 10
So
years
what happened
later.
in those 10 years? I thought you've been like doing it forever.
No. Like
You
it
are
was like quite
the
a
best.
long process, you know, like to get confident and to, because obviously you listen to like everyone, your family, and so you're trying to go down like the normal route, you know, getting a normal job and like trying to fit in and all that. So obviously I couldn't speak like a word of English, so I was like, you know what, let me get a job as an au pair. So au pair is like when you live with the family.
Yeah,
Okay?
we got a coffee situation, but can we get the camera on her for 5 minutes? Thank you so much. Yeah, perfect. Go ahead.
So yeah, I was. You okay?
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Do you want me to be like this?
Like the other
We've got a
one.
camera situation.
Yeah, like this? Like that?
Yeah, perfect.
I got a great
So-
side profile.
I don't know what I was saying.
No, you were talking about being an au pair.
So yeah, I was an au pair because I couldn't speak English, and I was like, I need like somewhere to live. So it was like quite an easy
Yeah.
situation for me, but at the end it was not easy at all. But so yeah, I was an au pair, then I moved to be a sales assistant, visual merchandiser, hostess in events, then a PA, and then I was like,
Who were you a PA for? What industry?
in the hospitality industry for like luxury
Right.
hotel. So I was a hostess for 6 months at the Mayfair bar, the Mayfair hotel. And I
Oh,
was
so
like,
you got into like luxury,
Yes,
sort
I
of
really-
events,
yeah,
people,
yeah.
the whole shebang. Okay,
Exactly.
gotcha.
But I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
nah, I'm tired of like sitting down with people and be like, hello, how are you? Can I get your table? I was like, I'm bored of like hearing my own self, you know? So I was like, you know, I'm gonna get like a job as a receptionist somewhere, maybe like climb the ladder.
Yeah.
And then the director of the food and beverage section, you know, in the whole hotel
Yeah.
group, heard that I wanted to leave. I was petrified of this guy. Like every time he was walking in the bar, I was like, oh my god, like,
Was he like a creep or a very intimidating, dominant person?
like
or
naturally, not a creep at all, but naturally dominant. You know, some people, they don't need to shout,
Yeah.
they don't need to
Yeah.
show off. He was just like naturally dominant, but like not in a bad way, you know.
Was he hot?
Not
Yeah.
to my taste.
Ah, okay,
you know,
so he
but
was just
very-
dominant.
Yeah, he was just like very dominant. And he heard that I wanted to leave the company, and he was like, no, you're not leaving. And he was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know, a receptionist. I know there is like a job offer in the
Oh, wow.
call center, you know, for reservation. He was like, yeah, you could do that. Or you could be my executive assistant. And I was like, what is this? And he was like, oh, like a PA, you know, like organizing events,
Yeah,
organizing
yeah.
my diary. And I was like, so do you want me to be your PA? I was like, I have no degree. I didn't study anything. He was like, you learn. And I just got the job like that.
That's awesome. So you must have like recognized your talent and your intelligence. It's incredible. Like I have a company now, and it's amazing when you start meeting people. Honestly, all you should look at when you're trying to hire people is character and ability, because everything else you can learn. You cannot teach character. And
true.
just direction and stamina.
And I think that's why he hired me. You know, loads of people were against it. They were like, she's only a hostess. She's been just there for 6 months. Some people want her job like for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not many people believed in me because, you know, just like the pretty face.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You
the
know,
hot
they're like, she
rod.
doesn't know anything. And he was like, I trust her. And like, I know, like, I can tell. And I was good at my job. Like,
That's so annoying, right? Because like I get as well, like kind of people put you in this category of pretty girl, and it's like in London there's models, people, right? So it's like I can't be fighting the models because I'm the brainy one, and I can't be fighting the non-models because I'm the pretty one. It's just like,
Yeah.
give me a break.
Give me a
I'm
break,
too
yeah.
ugly to be a model, but then I'm too pretty to work. I'm too pretty to be a lawyer. So it's like, come on.
what are we meant to do? You know?
Exactly. Leave me alone.
And people are like judging you, especially like other females. So men would not
Ugh.
take you seriously. Female would think you're itch. Like I don't know if I can say certain words here, but
Say it. You can say
a
whatever you
bitch,
want,
you know.
except for fucking shit.
And it's like you have to like fight to show you're a nice person and you know, dumb, and then you know, like everyone that meets me, they're like, oh, first I thought you were a bitch, and but you're actually really really nice. And I'm like, I know, but it depends on the energy you give me.
No, and the best advice they've given me, and it's always been in those hospitality jobs that I hated. It was full of Eastern Europeans, no hate, but you know what? You did what you did, okay? No offense to Drew's family. Romania is a wonderful country, but there's some people. But, you know, and they were just like so catty, so annoying, and also so nosy. It's like, oh, you think you're better than other people. That was my favorite advice about myself. They were like, oh, you think you're better than other people. I was like, well, not all people, but, you know, the women in this cafe, yeah, I do. I actually do. I'm sorry, you're not the smartest people, not the better looking. All you do is talk about your nails. So, you know, maybe there's more to life. So then, what was the first time you went into a strip club?
A strip club. Well, it's funny because I asked my male colleague when I was a PA, I was like, come on, take me to a strip club, take me to a strip club. I'm someone like, I want to experience loads of things in life at least once because I'm a very curious person. And none of them wanted to take me there. Like, I was like, oh my God.
How old was this? Was this here in the UK?
Yeah, in the UK. Like, I was 26, 27, so that's when I was a PA. And it's always been a fantasy of mine to be a stripper. I would walk past the strip clubs and I was like, oh, this looks very mysterious. You know, I've always been like attracted to the Moulin Rouge in Paris and the Crazy Horse, which is like burlesque and like a bit risque shows.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, I created myself like a character, like I want to be a stripper. It's literally since I was like 5 years old, you know, I've always been like admiring all those like females with the makeup and the lingerie, and I was like, oh my God, this is so nice.
And also the way they kind of captivate the attention, because I noticed it when I started, I was like around 17, 18, and I started, you know, when you lose your virginity or whatever. I love that I say 17, 18, no one will know. His name was Gorchi, he had a really nice car.
I thought you were about to say something else. Very nice.
So, I remember my friends and I started talking about like, okay, so what are you doing in bed, right? So it's like, and we would lie to each other. We'd say like, oh, I came like 8 times. And, you know, at 17, that's physically impossible. I think I came, I never did that ever. So we would all brag about all the things we would do with our boyfriends. And I realized I was the only one who enjoyed like stripping and dancing. And so many people were so self-conscious. And I was like, the teasing is the best part.
It's the best.
It's the best part because they want you so bad, and you're like, no. And then when the first time I went to a strip club, obviously in Uruguay we didn't have any, but then I was in LA, and in America, as you know, there's this crazy strip club culture.
It's next level.
And I was like, let's go. And the men, that's my favorite thing that I'm sure you can relate. Men like to feel very entitled about their strip club culture.
Yeah.
So one of their favorite things, and this is insecure men, by the way, their favorite things is that women normally don't go, and they can make like snappy comments like, oh, last night, oh, we can't, sorry, there's ladies here, we can talk. And I'm like, there's ladies at the club working, and I like to watch the show, so don't act like, you know,
you're a big thing.
Yeah, like they own it. It's like strip clubs are their thing. It's like, oh, you know, The Office, we just get drunk and go, but you know, we ended up at Brown's, whatever.
I wish I could show you the men when they come to a strip club that don't act like Puff Daddy and that, like they're literally shitting themselves, and like because they don't have the power in the strip club. That's what,
no, they don't.
Misconception. People think like, oh yeah, female, they're being forced like the object. No, the men are the object. Like literally they're shitting themselves, and like you could put like a CEO in front of me, like business owners and like politician or whatever. Put them in a strip club and they're literally like 4 years old little boy. Like you say hello to them and they're like oh my God, she's approaching me, you know, and like.
No, and also you guys are so aggressive. I remember, especially the London ones, it's like they come and, you know, when you have to pay for the dance and they're like, excuse me, and you're just like, oh my God. I'm in the cab and I'm like, does everyone have change? Because if not, we're gonna get slapped. But
which one did you go to?
So I used to live next to Brown's in Shoreditch.
Oh, I heard.
It's a cute petite one, but it was like literally next to my house. Yeah, it's like what?
A pub. People say like they compare it to a pub with like naked girls. I don't know, I've never been.
It's like tiny and kind of, I don't know, I haven't been to the good one. I've been to Platinum Lace.
Yeah, which one?
Which I thought in Leicester Square.
14? Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's kind of like very, I don't know, I thought it was, I don't know, they were pretty amazing. I saw a girl with dreadlocks, which I thought was so cool. It's like they had different styles of girls, and I thought it was very like artistic, you know? The one with tattoos and dreadlocks, and then the other one's like super elegant, and then the other one's super rock and roll, and I thought that was very like burlesque artistic.
Yeah, London they have a big variety. I mean, depending on the club, my first club was Stringfellow. Yeah. So to go back to your initial question, I started at like 28, and that's the first time I went to a strip club. It was as a stripper, not as like a client or something. But yeah, in Stringfellow they've got really like elegant girls. Yeah. Like they don't really like tattoos. Yeah, and like, you know, the girls are very similar. But then you go to other strip clubs and you realize, oh wow, there is actually a big variety. You know, like bigger females, small boobs, big boobs.
Yeah,
like,
there was some big
BBL, like natural, like everything, like very the girl next door, the model, like
bald hair,
like everything, like black mix, white, East European, like, which is really good, I think.
Yeah, for sure. You were talking about like the first time you went. I mean, I just stand up and I sing. And I'll tell you, there's a big difference between doing stand up and singing before you're about to go on stage. Singing, I know I can sing. Yeah. I know what I'm going to sing. Stand up, it's just you kind of work with the room. So your performance kind of bounces off the reaction of the audience. So that anticipation is terrifying. You feel like you're going to have a heart attack. So what was it like? Because I would love to get up on stage. Trust me. One of the reasons I'm such a big fan of strip clubs, and I go alone, literally alone, is because I want to be on stage, obviously. Okay. But, I'm so jealous. And I'm just like, oh, that girl could have tried harder, And then I'm just like, but from the dream to the reality, there's a big step. What was it like the first time? Because I can imagine when you walk in that changing room and all the girls, like, they know what they're doing, and you're like a total novice.
To be fair, I was not that scared because that summer, so I started in October in London to be a stripper, and that summer I was like a podium dancer in France. Oh, okay. So I was not that scared. It was a very different style of dancing, but like I'm someone that observe a lot. So like I observed the girls and I was like, okay, that's what they do, okay, that's what I need to do. And like I am extremely good at putting a poker face on and I pretend that I'm confident when deep inside I'm like, oh, But like to me it's more petrifying to go on a date with a guy for a Tinder date, than being naked on stage. I have no issue doing that, when I have a character,
is it the same like every different part? Because I would, what confuses me, because okay, when they show like their vagina and they spread their legs wide open, you're like, wow, that is
we don't do that in London.
Oh really?
On stage, no, it's topless.
Oh
we do that privately.
So I've seen, that's what they do in Browns.
Yeah, Browns, yes, but like most of the strippers in London, you are not fully naked on
so
stage.
just your breasts?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, so
but they look so like uninterested, which that for me, it's like, is that a way to protect yourself, or are you just bored out of your mind, or are you trying to dissociate? Like they literally look like.
I think it's a mix of everything. At some point, it's become like you're on autopilot. It's the same when like I give a dance to a guy. I'm thinking of like, okay, I have to go to the post office. Oh my god, tomorrow I need to do my washing. And the guy is like, but you still look at the guy very intense, like you're there, but you're not there. Yeah. And the guy is like, oh, I can tell you like it. And in my head, I'm like, oh, my knees hurt, and like, and it's the same on stage. You just go like, people are like, oh my god, and you're not scared that you're not. And I'm like, no, to me it's just like walking down the street. I don't really think of it anymore. And I think like you dissociate. You just. Sometimes you can't be bothered if you've got like a shitty song or like you don't feel the crowd, and you just get used to it.
And what's like the most you enjoy it? Because that dream moment where you're just like feeling people just admiring your body. Does that happen often?
Yeah, of course. Like my favorite moment is when like the club, like any club I work at, is busy and you see everyone in VIP, like the customer, the clients are like good, they want to spend money, they want to have fun, and you literally see like the club full and all the girls are dancing and you're like, wow, it's like a huge party, and it's just everyone is making money, everyone is having a good time. It's like a Christmas spirit, and it's
like a freaking party.
Like a freaking party. People think it's that weird thing, and it's like, no, it's literally a club where you can party. It's a bit more naughty, but it's literally, that's like a really good feeling. You feel like all the girls are empowered and the men are looking at us like we're like $1 million, Yeah, that's the best feeling.
So what's like the biggest high? How much money you're gonna make, or how seductive you're feeling? Like say you have a night where you don't make a lot of money, but maybe there's a client that you want to impress or someone you feel connected to, and then you love the song you're dancing to and you're just really in your feels. Or is the high from like, wow, tonight we're like picking up bags?
I would say like it's a mix of both, because it's true, sometimes I make loads of money, but I didn't like any of my clients. The atmosphere was weird, I was bored as F, So it's like, yeah, good, I make money, but nah, But like, and then there is nights you make like less money, but like the vibe was so good, and like the songs were good, and your girls were making money as well, and you were like in a VIP all together, and you're like, oh yeah, I had a good night. Literally, yeah.
Okay, scariest move to do, like where you're risking, because I don't understand how they don't fall.
Oh, I'm the lazy stripper. You know me, I'm just like flicking my hair, like going around, like waiting for the bus. Like just.
My favorite is when they start. They always go to the back. And they're like this, and the mirror, and they look at themselves like this.
I'm not looking at myself. No joke, like I'm entertaining myself. I'm like, do I look pretty? I've got something between my cheek, like But like, I don't do any tricks, because I am petrified of like falling or like hurting myself.
How do they bruise themselves?
So many.
I see them like put their legs around like they're rubber.
Yeah.
I'm like
literally,
crazy.
they have so many bruises, and I'm a bit of a princess. I'm like, nah, I don't want bruises,
No,
you know.
thanks.
And in London, we don't. I know in America, fair enough, like they put loads of effort because they get thrown like loads of money on stage.
Yeah.
We don't. So I'm like, I don't get paid.
Oh my God, they don't make
effort.
it rain here. So
No,
annoying.
no, and it's like you have like some guys they have like one beer for 4 hours, like sitting comfortably, like watching the stage. I'm like, do you want a cup
Alone,
of
I've
tea?
seen
Do you want
some
some
creeps.
biscuits as well?
Yeah.
And they don't tip. I'm like, the least
There's
you
not
can
a
do
party
is
vibe.
tip the girls, you know?
Yeah. So what about like? Well, I love when you do characters and you do. So let's start with the girls, because I'll tell you. Do you know what's really funny? What scares me the most about being a stripper is the girls. I feel like the vibe would be so catty, because I had it at the casino. I told you I worked for a casino as a waitress. We literally had a corset on, and the vibe was like, you know, war. We were fighting for tips, and it was like, it was money, but we were talking about like 20 grand, okay? The girls were, oh my God, when it's about looks and it's about male attention and there's money involved, madre mia.
I can imagine, but to be fair, I felt more tension when I was in the office than at the club. I feel like at the club I found girls that are the same as me, and when you have friends, they're your friends, and then of course you're gonna have girls that are not gonna like you and that, but like usually they just don't talk to you. They leave you alone, you know, like compared in the office, they would make me feel bad for doing my hair, doing my makeup, and being
You're
the
really
way that I
selling
am.
the stripping to me. Cut the show. Let's go.
Oh, but it can be horrible.
Really?
So, for example, I work in France. So I'm from France, and I was
Yeah.
like, do you know what? London is dead during the summer. Like, I need to make money
So
somewhere. So I went to Cannes.
Yeah.
And the French girls have a really bad reputation. So the French girl from France.
Right.
I don't. I mean, I am from France, but I consider myself from London because
Right,
that's
yeah,
where
no,
I started
I know.
stripping. You know.
I've been to France.
And I heard that the girls that don't know how to work and they're really mean. You know. And I went to France and I was like, oh
When
my
you
God.
say they don't know how to work, you mean they can't dance, or they don't
No,
have
no, they
the
can
ethic?
dance. They can dance.
But
It's
they
the
don't
way they
have the-
approach
Right.
their clients, and I didn't find it the best, you know.
Is it
like-
more like loose or less, more restricted?
It's just less classy to me. They just don't know how to sell. They don't know how to like use that psychology. It's very basic, you know. And I'm like, it's
Yeah.
nothing like London or even the States.
Yeah.
And they're very mean. French girls are very mean, you know. Like,
Really?
yeah.
Even like when you were speaking French to them?
Yeah,
Well, everybody's
oh
from
my
French.
God, and then I'm from London, so they think like I'm the Duchess of Cambridge, you know, they're like, oh, look at her, she thinks she's better because my English is quite good, you know, like obviously I've got loads of experience, but it's just like, if a French girl doesn't like you, you're gonna know, and it's gonna be very catty, it's gonna be like behind your back, and you have like, for example, East European girls got like quite a bad reputation, but to be fair, they're
They got
really
warm
hard.
hearts.
Yeah, they're hard worker. Oh my God, they're
Really?
robots. Like they work. You know, like
They
they're
work.
they work like really hard, and yes, if they don't like you, they won't bother with you. But like to be fair, I was in Finland last week, and it was literally just East European girls.
Yeah.
And they can seem cold, but like deep inside they're really warm.
Right.
They're like, if they don't like you, they don't like you, and end of the story.
They're
But
just
not
like
look for trouble.
independent.
Yeah, they're independent.
Right.
French girls, they're gonna be mean on purpose.
No.
That's not
Wait,
good.
can you tell us the Geneva story? Because I'm
Good.
dying. So you make this suspense. Your whole Instagram is just like eye candy. And then you tell me the story about something happened in Geneva that you had to leave. Just whatever you can tell us, just because I need to know.
I mean, to be fair, it was nothing traumatic or
Yeah.
nothing like crazy bad.
Yeah.
It's just that it was really, really not my style. And like
Yeah.
in Geneva, they don't really have strip clubs. They've got like champagne bar. So
Right.
the whole point is to sell. So we can sell dances, but the way you make money is by selling champagne.
Right.
And me, I don't fucking drink, so like it's gonna be hard for me.
Yeah.
And in Geneva, so prostitution is legal, so you're allowed to live with the client. I knew that before going. So I'm like, fair enough, you do whatever you want. But the problem is that because the men know they can live with the girls,
It's a
they
whole
feel
different approach.
It's a whole different approach. It's like they feel that they're walking into a brothel, and it's like they would make comment like, they're just walking in and it's like, oh, who's gonna suck my D?
No.
Like, so how much for the night? Are you gonna blow me? And it's like, ew, gross.
Oh
Like,
my
who the fuck are
God.
you talking to?
Wait, where are they from mainly? Do you know?
Switzerland.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
Swiss men?
Swiss men. I
My-
thought Frenchmen were bad, but like the Swiss, to
Oh
me,
my
I'm so sorry.
God.
But like they were, I'm not saying they're all like that, but like the men that were coming to the club were horrible.
Oh my God, and then you just said, I'm out.
Calling me stupid.
What?
Like literally being like,
So basic there.
for a joke, a guy was like, come on, I want to take you home. And I was like, yes, 10K if you want to take me home. You know, as a joke, so like, I could shut it down.
As a joke, also call me sir.
Yeah, and he laughed at me, and I was like, do you know that can happen? Like, I know some girls, like, they get paid loads
They're
of
so,
money.
yeah, I think it's like you said, right? Like, it's incredible how you can cross the line with showing your nipples, you can cross the line with putting sex on the table, but degrading people, you can do that with your clothes on. It's like what you were saying about The Office, right? It's like, it's such a thin line, and people don't realize that it's really about the little comments and the looks, and I feel it. My sister lives in Geneva. I go there all the time.
Do you like it?
I hate it. It's like the little things, right? But people are so entitled with their narrow-mindedness. It's unreal. We're like, we're London. We're the big daddy. So just listen and learn. They don't have anything there. They don't have restaurant culture. They don't have clubs. They don't have bars. They don't have anything. They literally, and they're so entitled, like they think that we're looking up to them.
Because they have loads of money. And that's
but there's some industries that work there, because if you look at it here, I think that the just the overall London culture is so much more developed that even if people have money here, they have more class.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
true. I think it's because in Switzerland it's like old money and that old mentality, you know, it's a mix of like
ancient
French, German, Italian. So like I think the Brits are a bit more like develop in terms of like how to approach women, like they're flexible, they they're open-minded, and that like the Swiss, I was like, oh my god, like I have to like
live
run
in
away.
another decade. And what about falling in love with clients? Because I can imagine if you have a connection with someone, I don't know, I can imagine it being so hot. Like, imagine, like, the guys that you date, like, you meet them through just, like, total physical seduction. Yeah. There must be something. That's something most girls don't experience. You have to pretend, like, you don't want sex for, like, 4 dates, and then you're just like, I've been wanting it since I saw you.
Literally. No, it can happen. I'll be like, no, it never happened. Like, we're human beings at the end of the day. You know, we have feelings, we have emotions, we have needs. Yeah. So, you know, of course it can happen to, like, it's like any line of job, you know, you can fall in love, like, right here in an office or anything, you know, so obviously it can happen. It's quite tense, but most of the time it's nothing to do with the physical thing, it's the conversation. Usually when you fall for your clients, it's because you spend like 2 hours talking, because that can happen. It's not all about like removing your clothes. Loads of men come just to talk.
So where are they, those guys, in terms of headspace? Are they single? Are they married? Are they in a bad marriage?
The one who comes, or just the one you fall in love?
So, like, when you have those 2-hour conversations and you're really connecting with someone, is it somebody who, where are they? Like, in their headspace?
It's a mix. You've got loads of married men.
Yeah.
Like, literally, and they just, I feel like after, like, you've been married for a long time, maybe you don't listen to each other. Maybe
and it's the city boys. The city boys are awful. I went to Browns with one of my clients and their friends. They were all, like, you know, bankers. And it's incredible because they have such a poor understanding of humanity. I feel really bad because it's not even once the marriage doesn't work out, it's how they walk into the marriage to begin with. These people have no emotional intelligence.
Oh my god, I was about to say the same.
Yeah?
Literally, and you know, on TikTok, some people are like, oh, go and get yourself an education, go and get yourself a degree, and I'm like, that doesn't give you access to being a good person.
No.
That doesn't give you access to being smart.
Yeah.
I know, like, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, how they can be CEOs and businessmen, and when I talk to them, it's like there is nothing there, and I'm like, you dumb. You're literally so dumb, and I'm like, I don't know who are those women that can be in a marriage with those men, because like you said, they've got no emotional intelligence or like awareness of the way they come across, and they come across like disgusting and arrogant and ew, and I'm like, how? I don't care about your money, like, gross.
I was at dinner and one of the guys told the other guy, your wife is not that pretty. He was 45.
I know.
I don't want to hear that after like 3 years old. That is so dumb.
I know.
But you know the worst part is that like money is so subjective to where you come from, because you know where you come from, where I come from, we think about what is our idea of money, right? So obviously education was a challenge. I wanted to do art, but it wasn't the easiest thing for me to go to an expensive college. It wasn't, right? So we have this like idea of having an education kind of on a pedestal, and like these people had an advantage, but you have to look at their backgrounds, right? Because everybody in the city and all these like bankers are different. Some people come from a very toxic family that has a lot of wealth, and they've been like psychology messed up by having to put up with the sort of rules of their family. Some people made the money and had to cut all their friendships to just work 14-hour days. So it's just like, we look at it, we see money, education, but there's so many different stories. The only thing I would say is that no money is worth losing your dignity, and no money is worth losing your sense of self and your humanity, because there's nothing, there's like this guy, he like had just gotten divorced, he was horrible, he was back to his friends, his colleagues hated him, and you think, where are you going to spend the money? and he was always renovating one of his houses. Renovating. Like, dude, what do you think happens when you build a wall? Like, nothing. You have, no one to share your money with.
Exactly, and I said that to them sometimes. I'm like, so they come, they spend the money and all that, and like they're being arrogant, and sometimes you would even just walk to them and say hello, and they look at you, they don't even say hello back, and I can tell the city bankers or like business owner or whatever, and I'm like, so you got a fancy degree, right? And they're like, yeah, like I was like, you went to university, you're a banker, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, don't they teach you just the basics, how to say hello to someone that say hello to you, and they're like, and I said to them, I was like, clearly money doesn't buy class.
No.
I go to Primark, I've got more class than you.
Yeah,
and I'm like, ew, I'm like, I wish, imagine, maybe, hopefully, I don't know, one day I'll have money, and I hope I'm gonna stay like polite and kind to like everyone around me.
But the thing is, you don't need the money because you have this aura to you, and I think that is why you have such a clear understanding of what's real and what's not, and what's important and what isn't. And the thing is that's the beauty of, they did a study on like happiness and money and the relation of, so after more than 60K a year, which is a pretty normal salary in the UK, money, like happiness levels fluctuate. So the more the limit of how much more money will make you happy is 60K a year. Then it's just about the other stuff. Of course we want it all. We want the loving relationship, we want the beautiful family, we want the meaning, the purpose, the career,
the security,
the loyal friends, the beautiful everything. But the thing is, it's kind of like how you move the chips, right? Because if you're having a great deficiency on one side to have a great excess on the other, then that imbalance is going to cause you unhappiness.
And I learned that last year. It's all about balance. Like, don't get me wrong, you said, like, I understand all this and that, but it took me years. At some point when I started stripping, I was a bit arrogant, to be fair.
Really?
I was a bit like, I lost track on like what matters. I just wanted to be in luxurious places. I was like, no, I'm not going to give the time to a guy that's got a normal job and that. But like, I would still not sacrifice my dignity and just go with a rich man just because he's rich, because I just can't bother to be bored during a date, like that's not me. But like, it took me like years to understand like everything is about balance, and like that's where like happiness, you can have all the money in the world if you don't have a good core, like of good friends and good family, and like still enjoy the simple time, you're never gonna be happy. You see some girls that got all the like the Birkins and the bags and the Chanel and all that, and I see them, they're miserable.
Of course.
So, and literally I think like last year, life, God, however you want to call it, removed everything from me. I was miserable, and then it really took me a while to understand it's because my foundation was not good. I didn't have that many good people around me. I was trying to look for the wrong things, and I was like, I need to like stop and like go back to basics. And that's when I learned again, and then I was like, okay, money is good because it's comfortable, it's security, but I need to enjoy the simple things, you know?
Yeah. And also it seems like your relationship with money is very healthy, and this is one of the things I ask you about other strippers. Money is a source of power, and we need power to just move it to the different areas where we need it. We need power for security, we need power for our relationships, we need power, we can't be powerless, this is how the world operates. But the thing is that people turn that power into a liability, because if you spend it on things. So one of the things that I think what's made it so popular as well is that you don't look like a stripper, you don't sound like a stripper, and I am pretty sure you don't think like a stripper. So in your surroundings and in your experience being with other girls who are working as exotic dancers, like, what is the overall mentality there? Because I'd be surprised everybody's writing books.
No, not everyone, but like it's not just about writing books. Loads of my stripper friends, like now they're in finance, they're in like they're lawyers or things like that. So it really depends like which club you're going to, which country, like or like when they started and that, like I think again when you say I don't look like a stripper, I don't really like when people say that, because loads of my friends like extremely pretty, extremely intelligent. And I think like people say that because they just know the basics, what media I want to show, like what's being shown the most, and that's why like I want to come in and show like there are many girls like me, they just don't show themselves.
Yeah, no, of course.
So many,
but there's something in your eyes that you look like you have, it's almost like you have been untouched by anything that is, perverse or dark or evil. So I don't know, like I always see that, and maybe it's by experience because I haven't been to the best clubs, but I see like the girls are kind of like gone. It's like I see that they're gone, like, and maybe it's just because they, like I said, they dissociate and then they come back to themselves. But what is your experience?
I can be like that. I can be gone as well. Trust me. There are days where I'm like miserable, and I show it on TikTok as well. Like I want to show reality. There are days where I'm like fucking depressed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, but I'm just like, and then I just calm down and I think of like my friends and the good time with my friends, and that's when like I've got life back into me. And I think if you think of those girls that are like gone, I think it's because they get caught in just that like going to work, making money, sleep all day, and that's it.
Yeah,
you know, like you have, you know.
What about drugs? Is that something that people do? Do they drink while they work? Do they take drugs?
Yeah, but like any go to like banker city boys, they're full of cocaine, and go to any other industry, like, and to me, I found more people on drugs and alcohol in like hospitality and like the banks and that, and in the stripping industry. Like loads of my friends don't drink like me. They don't take drugs. They do yoga. You have a lot of like yoga teachers, and, like people like that. You know. So again, it's like a misconception. Amazing. There are drugs and alcohol everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, people in hospitality are off the chain. Yeah. It's like they're sweating and it's like 5 degrees.
Especially in London, it's so casual to take drugs.
It's so casual, especially cocaine. People are taking cocaine all the time. So there's a beautiful sisterhood then. It sounds like you protect each other.
Yeah.
Is that the easiest thing to find, or has that been your experience?
I mean, that's my experience. I don't know about the other girls, but like some of my closest friends are like strippers because we understand each other, you know. But,
and how do you deal with the taboo side of it? Because I remember one of the things you were talking to me about was just having this name, right? Like stripper. It's like so degrading. People just like completely think, oh, prostitution. So how do you guys, I'm sure you guys have a whole system to just take advantage of it when you need it and then retract it when you don't, right? So what is your approach to when people ask you, what do you do? I'm an artist!
Yeah, just someone at a party outside, it was like, oh, don't say you're a stripper, say you're an artist. To be fair, it's art. To me, it's art.
An artist.
Art is subjective. Everything, you know, like...
I paint pictures in people's heads.
Yeah.
Of sleeping with me.
Exactly, you know, so... But I say, when people ask me what I do, I'm like, I'm a dancer. And they're like, oh, what kind of dancer? And I'm like, the type that makes money. And then they start to laugh, you know? So, like... I used to hide myself, and then I was like, why should I hide myself? I'm trying to like fight against like inequality and discrimination. So why should I be ashamed? You know, but it took me years. It took me like 3 years.
That's just remarkable. I mean, I'm like scared to do some TikTok ideas that I have, and you're just like, yeah, I'm a stripper. Sorry, is that my glass? Bye. Like, you don't care.
I don't care because so I was hiding myself because I didn't tell my family.
Yeah.
And then I told my mom in March or April, I don't know when.
Yeah.
And I told my entire family, even my dad.
But did you tell them exactly how it was? Or?
Yeah, literally exactly how it is. And when my family was like, listen, like, I know you've got your head on your shoulder. I know you were doing a nice and classy and clean club.
Yeah.
They just worry because obviously you can't do this your whole life. That's the only worry they have. But as soon as my parents were fine with it, I'm like, if my family is fine, then I don't give a shit about the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Literally, my family, that's what matters, you know, like, their opinion matters.
So we're talking about, obviously, you've got a great family.
Yeah, so, I don't get along with them that much.
Yeah.
But they're not judgmental.
Yeah, but they've got great values. And I'm sure that's part of why you have great values, right?
Yeah. Good
so
values.
if you're doing anything in life, whether it's like a job in finance or stripping to hurt yourself or to run away from a difficult, you know, I mean, all families are difficult, eh? Like my family, I'm always torn between, do I have a toxic family or do I have a beautiful family?
Yeah, same.
It's like, depends on the time of the day. Sometimes I tell stories about my mom and I'm like, she was tough. And then I'm like, my mom is crazy.
Yeah,
she is bipolar. So I never know which one's the truth. But I mean, I guess when you, like you said, it's a big step. And how did that secret feel? Because I'll tell you, sometimes like, I don't know, I've dated guys that I wasn't very proud of. And I just, every time, you know, I don't know how communication is with your family, but mine, we talk all the time. It's very open. And I hated hiding stuff. It made me feel so dirty. How did you feel? How did you cope with a secret? Because it was a couple years, right?
Yeah, I didn't like it. It's like, how's work? Like, oh, but what you do exactly? And it's all like you feel like a snake going around. And like, I hate lying. I literally hate lying. It's the same like if I'm going to date a guy and like, they're like, what do you do? I'm upfront.
Yeah.
Why would I want to date someone that doesn't know what I do and like be ashamed of my job when I don't think it's something I should be ashamed of? So, but yeah, I hated the lying, and that's what I called my mom. I was like, I'm tired of lying. And she was like, are you gay? We'll be fine. Are you a trans woman? And I'm like, no, I'm just a stripper.
Mom, do you know what trans woman is?
She was like, is that it? And I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, well.
Oh, how did you introduce it? Did you say, Mom?
Yeah, literally, I was like, okay, Mom, I've been hiding something for a few years, and I hate lying, so I need to come clean. And I said to her, I was like, it's like coming out. And she was like, are you gay? You're the female.
Was she scared? When you said, if I tell my mom that, like, I have something to tell you I've been hiding for a few years. She's like, hi, Victoria, you're going to kill me.
She was a bit scared. She was even something like health related, you know?
Yeah.
But then when I told her, she was like, is that it? And I'm like, I mean, yeah. And she was
That's
like,
how we
oh.
should do it. I should tell my mom everything like that. Mom, I have 3 months to live. Just kidding. I'm dating a terrorist.
Well, that's next level, you know? But I don't do anything illegal.
No.
I'm looking after myself. They know that I don't drink. I don't do drugs. Like, I'm pretty...
And also they see you, right? They see you're in a great place. Like, you got your head straight.
Yeah, they're
That's
just worried
amazing.
about the future because they're like, you can't do this when you're 40. And I'm like, technically I can.
But did they know you wrote a book and that you've got your...
They found out, yeah.
Oh, so did you tell them about your socials once you came out?
Yeah, but like to them it's very abstract, you know, they don't realize, you know, that even my grandma, she's like, okay, you wrote a book, but you know, a superstar, like who's gonna buy it? And I'm like, thanks.
I love French grandmas. Who are you to write a book?
Wait, no, but when I told my grandma I was a stripper, she was like, but she was like, you have no boobs, how does that work? She was like, do you make money? And I'm like, nah, and I was like, you don't need boobs to make money. I was like, you see my face? And she was like,
He said, Grandma, it's about the eyes. God damn. But also your boobs aren't great either.
I know, I love them. Like, men don't care about boobs, just old school, you know?
I
back in the
love
days.
that. That's the best comment ever. And what about, so hardest, you're not very neurotic, are you? You don't overthink.
Oh my god, I do.
You do?
Oh my god.
I was gonna
all
say,
the
you know
time.
what I was thinking when you were talking, I was just getting jealous. I was like, oh, she doesn't overthink, she just thinks.
Oh, when I'm on my own, I overthink. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. But like, no, if I speak, I have no filter. Sometimes it's bad.
I love
but, like,
it.
If
No,
literally,
same.
I just speak what's on my mind.
Best person to have on the radio. Because you know what? Sometimes I'm such an overthinker that I would be in a situation and just put horrible scenarios in my head. Like, for example, when I was working at the casino, right? My sister came to visit and I was terrified because we had a very sexy outfit. And I remember working for the weeks before and just feeling like, you know, just this whole scenarios in my head of like me talking to my parents, just torturing myself. So what was the situation that you feel like, okay, now you can obviously laugh at it because you seem like you have evolved from every angle. You just covered the situation from every angle.
Yeah.
But what was the situation where you felt the worst, like so small? Which it can happen to you in any industry, but I can imagine with stripping, if you get up in your head, you could start with a labeling and you could start with a...
This is a hard one. Where I really literally felt bad about myself, or someone made me feel bad about like, my job.
Yeah.
We don't know, like for example, like the comment on TikTok, or even just the men in general. Every
Oh,
night
what's
can
going
be-
on in the comment section? I thought everybody was like, you're
No,
my
not
hero.
everyone is loving me. Trust me.
People
like,
get a life.
get an education. Who do you think you are? You raping? No raping. Sorry. You're reaping. You're reaping off men. And I'm like, they choose to come.
Ripping off?
Yeah.
That's my favorite. No. These people need a reality check immediately.
They need a reality check. And you know what makes me laugh when they're like, she was so aggressive. I felt bad. I felt pressure, and I'm like, we are dealing with this on a daily basis on the
Who was
streets.
aggressive? Your
Me, I'm aggressive because
on
I'm like,
TikTok.
no, at the club, you know, when you're like, come on, you need to get a dance, or what are you doing? You know, when like you're pressuring them to do something.
What?
And they're like, you were so aggressive, I felt unsafe, I felt forced, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Stop being a crying baby. I was like, we have to deal with this on a daily basis on the street, and it's not my job to deal with men on the street. I was like, you choose to come to a strip club, so obviously you're gonna deal with strippers.
Wait,
You know?
and what about then men that you were talking about, the men that just come in and just are weird?
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, can someone make you feel bad because they're like, oh, you know, pretty, or literally, like, very basic, but like, oh, you've got no boobs, oh, you should squat a
They
bit
tell
more.
you that?
Yeah, of course, and I'm like, you're bald, fat, and short, like,
And you're like, and you don't have the personality to date
oh, but
me.
let
You have
us,
to pay
like,
to be here.
literally.
Yeah,
And they're like, oh, but you should squat a bit more, or like, oh, you should work on your abs, or like, oh, you just, or when they're like, oh, you don't spend.
You
it's
should
not
work
fair.
on your abs. You got great abs. I saw them.
I know.
Vibes. You're vibing.
But literally, I'm like, oh my god, they're literally losers. Or when they say like, you're like, come on, you need to like get a dance or tip or something. You can't just come here and not spend money on the girls and like, well, you choose to be here. Like very, like they're looking down on us, and I'm like, it's because you feel so bad about yourself coming to a strip club because you have to come to one to get some female
Oh
attention.
my God.
Like you have to put your frustration on me. So usually like people like dump their like frustration on us, and that can be hard. Like mentally it's draining.
Of course. And they feel like you're the punchback, right? They come
Yeah.
there, it's late. All right, so the characters, please do the characters. One of the most common, you know what I always see that for me, that's the first thing that comes to my head? those weird fat guys that just put both shoulders on the stage and they sit there by themselves. I don't know what they're sipping on, like apple juice or whatever, but they just sit there and don't move.
You need to get it. I mean,
I see them like this in the dark, and the girl is just putting her butt cheeks on their face, and they're like, and I'm like, what about those guys?
I think they're like just breathing and like getting some like views from later on during their boring night. I guess it's a bit more like entertaining than just watching porn. So
literally.
And you literally, they would be like watching the stage, and sometimes I'm like, do you want a blanket? Do you want some biscuits? Do you want a tea? Because they would be like sitting so cozy, like like that, and then you're like, hello, darling, how are you? And they're like we just bother them, and it's like
they just want to be in the dark, you know, like no one can see them.
They just
all right. So what, the money?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the money. What's the most money you made on one night? Come on, make me feel bad about my life choices.
It's, in the UK, it's not crazy. In Europe, it's not like, you know,
Anywhere,
America.
choose your country. I'm moving. You tell me where to work.
I haven't worked in the States that long, but like...
Where are the States?
I worked in Miami, but literally just before COVID. So like, it was empty.
Miami.
I didn't like it.
No?
Not my style.
Are the girls crossing over to
The girls were really nice.
Oh, really?
So I was expecting the girls to be like bitches.
But
Like, they were so
in Miami,
nice.
they can touch you, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, how was that?
Well, that was my first experience, and I felt a bit weird, you know. But now I'm used to it, because in France they can touch, in Finland they can touch. It's only in London that they can't touch.
Wow.
You know. But yeah, Miami was something. I remember like walking from like the changing room to the actual club, and I opened the curtain, and it was like those big flashing lights, 2 massive stage, 3 girls on one pole, and I was like, okay.
3 girls on one pole?
Yeah, you have 1 girl on the floor, like twerking, 2 girls climbing, and I was like, okay,
Oh
America always next level. And then you have us in the UK, like la 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 la, like fucking princesses, you know. And it's like, yeah, it's totally different.
That's amazing. And okay, so
the money,
the money. I
would say 2,000 euros
in one night.
In one night.
Wow, yeah. Nice.
And that's a good night.
That's a good night, and you can choose like how many hours you want to work.
Hours, no. Days.
No, you can choose the days. So like literally, if you want to work twice a month, you can.
In London, yeah. But for example, if I like choose to go to Cannes or like to Finland or somewhere, it's like you're an artist and you book yourself. You know, like a DJ would be like, I'm here from like Monday to Saturday for like 2 weeks and that. Yeah. Because when you go abroad, there's smaller clubs and they don't have that many locals. So that's why they have got loads of girls from like Europe or other part in the world
touring.
So they're like, it's like touring, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to agree to work 6 days out of 7 or 5 days or something like that. In London, it's like, it depends on the club, but it's like 3 nights a week.
So who do you have, like a booker, somebody that books your nights, who you call your manager? How do you?
So yeah, some girls got agent. I didn't know that. So they do all the job for you. I don't. I'd rather like deal with it myself. Yeah. So I just get like contact from other girls, and I text the boss, and I'm like, yeah, can I come? Yeah. And they're like, yes, send me your age, your pictures, your height, your weight, and I'm like, okay. And then you send pictures, and I'm like, yeah, you can come or you can't.
What about outfits? Where do you girls get your outfits? Ann Summers.
Yeah, Ann Summers. How do you pronounce it? Sheen? Sheen. Okay.
Sheen is good?
Yeah, it's really cheap.
Really?
Yeah, it's good.
I was gonna say they're so expensive. How do you know?
Sheen is expensive.
Not Sheen, but like Ann Summers, because some of the outfits look very elaborated.
Ann Summers is quite okay. It's regular, but like some girls are Stringfellow girls are like wealthy. Some girls are millionaires at Stringfellow.
What?
No joke. Because they
Where
started
is
like
it exactly?
Stringfellow is in Covent Garden, but like they started in the prime time, is that how you say? You know, like back in the day.
The golden years of stripping.
Oh
when they were stripping in slow motion.
Literally, they had like money coming out of their ass. Like they would make like 1K, 2K every night, like easy. You know, people were spending money like there's no tomorrow. So
what about like your go-to outfit? I know you said you like a one piece, right?
I like, because I'm the lazy stripper, so I like just like a robe, like a nice robe that I can just remove easily with like a bra and like panties or whatever, or like literally like how do you call it in English?
Strapless?
Yeah, strapless dress. And you know, like a dress, very easy to remove. It's like done. And then I don't like complicated things. I don't want to fall. I don't want to trip. I will just like easy.
And what about shoes? Like that, they all have to be those like stripper shoes.
Yeah, stripper shoes. I have stripper shoes, but like literally the smallest one you can find, because I'm scared of height. I find myself like quite tall, and like I'm like I can't like. So again, very comfortable, very lazy. Like sometimes you find yourself, men are not that tall anymore, apart when you go to like Finland or like literally. So I don't want like, sometimes you're sitting down with them like, okay, let's go VIP, and you stand up and it's like, oh, okay, let's go, and you're like, it's like you're looking at your little brother. So like my heels are long.
I see them walking like tiny steps.
Yeah, it's tiny step because the heels are like so fucking high, but it's so comfortable though.
What's the most boring part about being a stripper?
Oh, hearing yourself on repeat, like saying the same thing over and over again. Hello, how are you? Oh, where are you from? So I come here on business. What do you do? Oh, great. How old are you? Oh my god, amazing. Like it's not a fake thing, you know, like ongoing. So that can be a bit boring to hearing yourself.
And how do you know who's a good stripper and who's a bad stripper? Like who's going to make more money or less money? Or is it like completely subjective to the club or the clients? Or can you tell which girls get it?
Some people would say, like, for example, they would see a girl that's not that pretty and
Yeah.
they would say to me, oh, I'm sure she doesn't make money. I'm like, she's the girl that's making the most money.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
Don't tell me
Because-
it's a little mouse attitude.
No,
that what-
it's just because I feel that some men feel threatened by extremely beautiful women. So I prefer to go with like the more simple, like down
Girlfriend
to earth.
experience.
Yeah, girlfriend experience, like they can relate, you know, and like, and it's all about personality. It's not just about looks. I know
Really?
some really pretty women are boring as F, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
yeah.
the dance is not a big deal. It's more about the conversation.
There's some French
I
girls
thought they
were
would
hating
pick
me.
them. Really?
Some French girls were hating me because they were all doing like crazy things on stage.
Yeah.
And then here I come, like just flicking my hair, like shaking my ass, and it'll be being like a little snake, you know. And the
Yeah.
men were like, "Oh, you were the best dancer." I
Well,
just
maybe
look
you
at
were
them.
different as well, right?
I look at them in the eye.
Nice.
When you do tricks and now you don't really have the time to stare at them, and then
Yeah.
literally I stare at them and they love it.
They
feel
want
it- feel it-
connection.
They want a connection. They feel
They
like
want
it's very
attention.
personal. So it's got nothing to do with. Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong. Even me, I look at the girls
Yeah.
and I'm like, I wish I could do this. It's like angels, you know.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're so pretty. I really admire them. But it doesn't mean it's not because you're the best dancer that you can
No,
make
no,
money.
for sure. And what about like, do you get that adrenaline rush from going on stage, or are you just like so comfortable? You know what's gonna happen in your routine?
Every day is different. Somehow like I get really excited. There's
Yeah.
a client, I'm like, ooh, he's a cutie. Like let me,
Yeah.
And somehow I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered. It's just like, oh, I have to go. You know what I mean? I'm like, and then I don't give a F, and I'm just like standing there.
I love it. And what about favorite colors to wear?
Black.
Always black? You never do red or the pastels?
I do red. Red suit
Yeah.
me, but like literally, like less is more for me.
Yeah.
You know, and literally, people compare me to like posh, you know, posh bag. You know,
Yeah,
like, always have
you
that
have that vibe, 100%.
that vibe. And I think like men love it, and like, oh, you're so elegant, you're so simple, and like, I think like sometimes when you have too much thing going on, it
Yeah.
distracts men from like the real deal, you know. So yeah,
No,
black.
no, for sure. And then you guys make the most money from private dances.
Yeah.
Do people
Yeah,
tip on private dances?
I ask them to, yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, honey, don't forget your tipping.
Yeah, literally, I'm like, oh, can you give me a tip? You know, and they're like, of course, honey, you were amazing. But like, they don't have to. Like in
Nice.
America, they're so used to tip everyone.
Yeah.
You know, they tip
Yeah,
like
yeah,
waitresses or like wherever they go, they tip, you know. And even me now, even if I'm in the UK, I tip everyone because I'm like, you know, it's annoying when you provide a service and I know like your
They
boss
deserve
is
a tip.
taking, you deserve a tip. If you're
Love
nice and if you did a good job, like I tip my nail people,
Yeah,
my,
yeah, yeah.
my massage person or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice
yeah, yeah.
tipper. Well, now, guys, we're going to go on a short break on the Diary of M. Do you want to tell us your socials again?
So yeah, my social is the Diary of M on TikTok with all, how to say?
Underscore.
Yeah, with underscore.
Diary underscore of
Yeah,
underscore
that's on
M.
Instagram.
All right, guys. Those. Thank you so much for listening. So once again, you're listening to Love the Beat Radio. You can listen to us on lovethebeatradio.co.uk, and you can find me on my socials at Vic Brugger. And remember, this show it's called "It's Not Me, It's You" every Monday from 12 to 2 p.m. This second part of the show, I wanted to devote to your incredible mind and your incredible entrepreneurship talent.
Okay.
So you want to be an actress?
Yeah, trying to.
How did this start? Well, that was always the dream, right?
So I was always fascinated by the world of cinema, like you
Yeah.
know, when I was watching movies or like, I don't know, I just like anything that's not normal life, you know what I mean? I like to escape somewhere, so I've always
Yeah.
been like attracted to like, yeah, movies and like fiction and like, oh, it's too beautiful. So it was sort of like in the back-
Storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling. It was like in the back of my head, but you know, like you need to get like a normal job, like
Yeah.
by society and all that. And then
Society.
yeah, all that bullshit, you know. Oh, sorry. And then I did reality TV in my country.
Wow, what was that? What show?
It's called Temptation Island.
Nice.
It was like so.
Oh,
fun.
it's so funny. It's like when the couples.
yeah. I was a
literally-
bombshell, so I was not like in a
Ooh,
relationship.
so you were there to tempt men.
Yeah, I was.
Which is in a way what we're doing
What I'm
today.
doing
It's
now.
kind of your genre. Love
But I
it.
feel better like doing it now
Yeah.
and be fully naked than the way it was on TV.
Well, TV is rough, right?
On TV, it's just I felt that I was manipulated by like the production,
Oh my God.
and essentially they were like, you know, if you go with this guy, well, that means more time on camera, which means more followers, which means more money. And I'm like, oh, clearly, if I go and talk to a guy that I don't like and kiss him, that's like prostitution.
Wow.
Technically, no, obviously it's not, but it's like you get paid to be with someone you don't like.
Honestly, reality television is monstrous. Like, now that they're kind of disclosing what happened. Do you remember the show, The OC? Or Laguna Beach?
No.
Well, there were like, you know, back in the day when reality television started, before the Kardashians, there were these shows about these rich kids that lived on the coast of California.
Okay.
And they basically were like, you know, rich and bored. And they were always planning parties and hooking up with each other's boyfriends. And people were obsessed. Kind of like the Kardashians, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Showing excess, showing wealth. And yeah, like now it's been 10 years and they're like really showing how they got those episodes that
Okay.
look like reality.
Oh, I think
And
so,
it's
yeah.
like literally like crime. The way they were getting these people to the narrative they tell on the show, on the series, has nothing to do with what really happened.
Yeah.
And people are so confused between what's real and what isn't.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine like Love Island, right? Did that change your perspective on shows like that?
Temptation Island, but like Love
No,
Island.
but I mean, like, being on Temptation Island made you think that
Oh.
Love Island is BS.
I don't know, to be fair. Love
Really?
Island seem more real, but again, you need to be in there to see if it's real or not. But literally, like, reality TV is nothing real. It's real because you have real people and not actors, and there is no script. But
Yeah.
you have an entire team of journalists and a production that's like guiding you to create a story. They're here to create a story.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I realized. Like, when you think like, oh nice, they're having a picnic with champagne, that's being set, and they'd be like, okay, now we can go on set and start, you know? It's not like they're just walking into their life. So
yeah.
that's how it started. So I did reality TV, and everyone was like, what are you doing? Like the comments were like, you too glam, you too smart, you too intelligent. I mean, people on reality
That's
TV are not
amazing
dumb.
comments.
It's amazing comment. They're like, you something else than reality TV.
Yeah.
And to be fair, people on reality TV are not dumb. They're actually smart, being in a certain way.
Pretending to be dumb.
Pretending to be dumb. But I was like, I don't want to play pretending to be dumb. I want to be known for my true personality, not because of like some shady producer want me to act a certain way, you know. So that's why I like end up stripping. I was like, I'd rather do this
You're like
somewhere.
the hustler, right? You're like a fighter.
I'm
you
a
just
fighter.
like push your way through life. I love it. I'm the same.
It's
Did
not
you
how-
watch that movie, Hustlers?
Of course,
It's like our national
Yeah, I
anthem.
love it. I was like, and you know when? Do you remember that scene in the house
don't
when
remember.
Usher comes in, and then I have this big party before the 2008 crash?
Yeah.
Literally, you know when I'm telling you about the good side of stripping and like what's my favorite thing is when you have nights like that. Everyone is making money, and you just feel like, oh wow, this is so funny, you know, like you do bond and you do have.
It's
great
a party.
memories.
It's like an actual party.
It's a party. But
That's
yeah,
amazing.
this is how I started to want to be an actress, because people were like, you're too pretty, you should be an actress. And I was like, oh, it's been in the back of my head for a few years, but I was always scared.
Too, like, I think you're too interesting. You know?
I think I'm deep.
Yeah, you're deep. You're here. You've got a story, and it's like, you know what I love? I think that what your TikTok shows is your observation, because it's your perception of what happens
Of course,
in
yeah.
the club that's so interesting, right?
Mhm. But so yeah, people were like, you should be an actress, and I was like, maybe I should try. Maybe like I always wanted to. I was always scared.
Yeah.
And then after the reality TV show, I was like, do you know what? F it. You know, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and it's
Yeah.
not like I want to be an actress. I was like, let me try to take some classes and see if I like it. You know.
Yeah.
And obviously, acting is a really, really, really hard industry.
It's
And, you know,
tough.
like it's tough, rejection and all that. And this is why also I was hiding the fact that I was a stripper,
Yeah.
because I was like, if they discovered in the industry that I'm a stripper, no one is ever gonna take me seriously, or no one is ever gonna like take me,
Yeah.
you know, for any role because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
being a stripper. And this is when this year I came out. I was like, actually, I don't give a F. The filming industry is horrible as well.
No.
And I was like, I'll be an hypocrite, and they are hypocrite if they don't want to take me because of my job, because I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah.
dancer. You're a big ass hypocrite. you know?
No. Do you know what I think it is? I think we all come to, I think in life, all big changes, where we actually always notice changes from the outside, right? It's like, oh, I'm making more money, I have better relationships, I look better, I have a better job. But it's really like these internal processes that lead to those changes. And I think when I hear you talk about acting, and I think this is something that we talked about, I think you still have acting on a pedestal. And you think that that's a club that needs to let you in.
Yeah,
And it's like,
true.
you are the club. the ones to let them in. And I think when you make that click in your head, because it's not really what they can do for you, it's really what you can do for them, right? And the beauty of storytelling is that human beings, we have so much texture, so many layers to ourselves, and that's what's so beautiful. I hate it when they write like unidimensional characters and they make very cartoonish versions of people and what happens. And when they show true emotion, true stories, and just the complexity, just what we were saying about our families, right? Like, I love my parents, but sometimes I'm not sure if they ruined my life or they saved me, or so that dichotomy of what makes us human, I think that's what's so beautiful. And I think you are incredibly deep, and there's so much to you and so many layers. So it's not about, am I pretty enough, am I good enough, girl. I can tell you right now, you are. And what it is, it's really about like everything, right? Working with creativity is tough because we have this pristine, beautiful thing, which is art, and then we have the business of art, which there's nothing pristine about it, right? Because you have to turn, like even this show, right? I want a beautiful moment where I connect with you and you can share your story, and there's so much about it that I have to do around it to get this little moment. So you can imagine a multi-million-dollar production, right? The different teams, the different department, the human relationships, the people, you know, and the investors in the movies, right? So who do you have to make happy with your choices? So creativity is very filtered by, you know, the business of it. So that's what makes it so hard. But I think us as like people, common people, or maybe girls who just grew up with, you know, putting London or Hollywood in a pedestal, we always think that they're these beautiful club and we just need to be let in. And every time I've been close to it, I realize that's not kind of how it works. It's all, you know what, and everybody's waiting for someone to change the game. Trend is so fast, right?
True.
I walked into my 20s, I'm like you, I'm 31 now, and when I came in, the world was so different. Music, film, fashion. It was, I couldn't have imagined. Like, I have a 22-year-old sister, right? And I have friends who are 22, and I still don't put two and two together. I'm like, no, but they're a different kind of 22. Not like my sister. My sister's a baby. And so imagine how much more will happen in the next 5-10 years. So we need to go out there and just think of, you know, it's like they say in business, don't do it for the profit, do it for the value. So it's more about like, there's no one like you. There's only one M. There can be similar people. There can be people that are in your category, in your field, similar interests. But if you go down to the rawest part of yourself and the deepest side of your heart and your mind, no one can match it. You're a unique individual. So if
everyone's
you can,
unique.
Everyone's unique, but not everyone is different in a way that adds value to others. Right? Because you can be, you know, and not everybody has this desperate, burning desire to express themselves, which I can tell you do.
I do.
And you do it on stage, and you did it with your book. Before we go on to your book, because, you know, she's also an author. I know. I'm getting annoyed with her accomplishments. A bit annoyed. It's true. It's annoying. Okay? Stop it. But I saw one of your TikToks, and this made me really laugh, because I think you don't realize how approachable that makes you. That said that you're a toxic girlfriend. You're like, I don't know what happens to me when I go into relationships, but I go crazy. And I'm the same. I think it's because we're crazy, and they just, like, trigger us. Because we were crazy for time. So, tell us about this.
But they love the crazy, though. That's what annoys me.
Of course. Everybody loves the crazy. Nobody wants a good girl.
All my ex-boyfriend, they all come back and they're like, oh, you were definitely the craziest. Oh, but you were the funniest. And you were the most real person. And then they go with someone that's like crazy and they're like, I'm bored. And they're like, you may need to pick a, you know, you need to pick a side.
Well, girls were the same. We're like, I want a guy who respects me and supports me and thinks about my needs. And when you find that guy, you're like,
I'm bored.
Hit me and disrespect me and choke me.
But that's probably because of our childhood. But that's
that's, you know, that's another. Follow us on Twitter.
Different thing, but yeah.
What kind of crazy are you? I'll tell you my kind of crazy. Hands. I go in. I throw stuff, slapping, punching, nails, biting.
Type of crazy, like literally, I can be like, you see me now, very happy, very chill, very like confident, sweet, you know. And then as soon as like a guy is like something, like
you feel vulnerable.
So vulnerable. I'm like, I'm being like emotionally co-independent. Like, it's like he hasn't texted for 5 minutes. Like, what's going on? Like when you say, oh, you know, overthinker. When I have a guy I overthink every single minute. What is he doing? Obviously, I don't trust men. Like, typical, I don't trust them.
No. And men, you know what's hard? It's not just that we don't trust them in terms like they're going to cheat on us. Because, yeah, there's the biology thing that they're more sexual than us, so then it's so stressful. But I think what also makes it hard is that they're more like, they're more independent and they're less expressive. So men need to talk more, they need to talk less, and they need to share less. So we're always like needy.
Wondering.
We always want more. We want another conversation. We want another phone call. We want another, and we love it. Like, I think with men, it's like, men have a really hard time giving up their independence. Women are like, I give it away like that. But then apparently in the long run, right, men become really comfortable in relationships and then they don't want to move. And then the women are like, okay, you're my husband now. I want to go out. You know what I mean? But at the beginning when you're dating, the men are just like, well, I have friends. I still need to go out. And you're like, you're my boyfriend now. We're going to watch TV. We're going to order food. And you're never going to see your friends ever again.
I'm that type of girl.
Are you crazy?
Like, if you still go out like every weekend, like, no thank you. Like, no.
So what kind of guys do you like? Do you have a physical type?
Yeah, definitely physical. Austin Butler, if you listen to me.
Oh my god, is that the blonde guy? I saw him.
Like, yeah, the guy that played Elvis. Oh my god, I'm literally like, my ex-boyfriend looked like
You know, he's actually mentally unwell, right? He's completely unstable. That
what?
actor,
maybe that's why I'm attracted to him.
He finished that movie production like a year ago and he's still talking like Elvis and he has a drug problem, so.
Does he?
Yeah,
oh
so
no,
maybe you can help him. Maybe you should put him on.
I love helping guys. I'm really attracted to guys that like F-ups. And because I've got the, in French we say the nurse syndrome.
Yeah, in English you've got it, the savior complex.
Yes, like if they feel bad, there was one guy I remember, I'm not gonna discuss who, but like he tried with me for so long and he had someone in his life, like a girlfriend, and I was like, no. And then one day he came to me and started to like say all his trauma and like what was going on in his relationship, and I felt really, really bad for him. And to that point I was like, I want to save him. Like,
you're like, don't worry, I can fix your trauma.
I can fix you. I can fix your trauma.
That's famous last words.
Literally.
I can fix your broken heart. So then they break yours, and then you're even crazier than you were before them.
But in terms of type, I like Scandinavian men, like Viking, tall, blonde, baby face. Like, I don't like French guys, I don't like Mediterranean guys. People that look like me, I'm not interested. I like the opposite. Blue eyes.
The same. I mean, I had a type. Now I'm dating like completely the opposite. I'm dating like a tall black guy.
Oh,
but it's, you know what?
My face.
But you know what? It was because we were friends for so long. And then we just kind of fell into the relationship. But before, I really like really boring, nerdy, like, how do you say, like posh guys. The more like posh they are, like when they look like an old bookshelf. Like, love it. I love, let's go hunting and, you know, the whole shebang.
Really?
But you know what, it's so weird because there's always one guy that you make the association with. But for me, it was always about guys that had like just that perfect combination of a little bit rebellious, right? But then a big heart and very smart. I cannot have sex with someone who's not intelligent. I can't.
What do you mean by intelligent though? Someone like, that's been to university or someone that can talk?
Well, it can be both, but it has to be with like really like you follow what I'm saying. You know, like we can talk about deep stuff, we can talk about abstract stuff, and we can talk about knowledgeable stuff like politics and economy and history.
So you're
people who don't know history, like I can't. Especially men. Because men are supposed to go out and conquer the workforce. So if you don't know your basic history, like imagine like I'm with someone and they're like, oh, I actually don't know anything about the Romans. Sorry, I know I'm such a nerd. But I'm like, yeah, my vagina is shut. Shut. The vault is shut. No one is going in there.
There's a word, and you sapiosexual, that's the word.
And what?
Sapiosexual.
Sapio! It's like...
When you're attracted to intelligence, and intelligence make you woo, like, you know, that's what you're attracted to. You're attracted to depth, you're attracted to intelligence, that's the word.
100%.
Sapiosexual.
100%.
I'm the same.
Yeah?
You can be... Sometimes it's a waste of space, you've got beautiful men, and then the token is like, hello, and there's nothing else, and I'm like, you're a waste of space, you're beautiful for no reason.
Yeah, no.
You know?
No. I can never date the cool guy. You know? Like the typical jock. Like the guy that just speaks in like short sentences, but he knows a lot.
Goes to the gym.
Yeah, he goes to the gym. He's like a gym freak or really into fashion, and he likes going to parties, and everybody knows him. He has a lot of girlfriends.
No, I can't.
And you're like, are you gay?
Yes,
it's the most gay attitude ever. It's like,
and they take selfies.
Yeah, and they've got an amazing Instagram. No, don't post that. It looks terrible.
Yeah, no, to me I'm gay.
No,
you have like a really strong.
Those are not masculine features. I don't find that attractive. So what happens when you go crazy?
I just like I can't control myself. I can't control my emotion. You know, if I have something to say, somebody else will be like, okay, like step down.
Yeah.
You know, and me, I'm just like, oh, where have you been? Like, you fucking piece of, you know, like I can't control my emotion. It's really hard, and I'm like FBI. If I want to find where you are, I'll find out where you are.
God.
Like, I check the friend
God
stories.
God scars me with
Stalker.
technological abilities. I'm crazy. Do you know what? It's weird because when you talk to women, they're like, I know because, for example, women don't push you to that level. I don't understand. Do you know what it is? Men and their silence.
Yeah.
Silence will make me murder someone. If we have a confrontation, I'm going to be fine. Yeah. But when men like disappear, like for example, when
That's
they
so
say
rude.
they're going to come, and then they start sending you messages and delaying it for 4 hours, they don't understand that you start boiling up. Right? And what you're able to do at 11 p.m., it's like, it's not legal.
Yeah.
I remember one ex-boyfriend back in the day where I had his iCloud password. So I would follow his car around on the map. And then I was so crazy that I was like, if you don't come home in 5 minutes. But you know what? You get it. It wasn't that I'm like, I just will say that to you, like, if you're not here in 5 minutes, I'm deleting your iPhone. It was a build up to that. Like, this guy was never respecting my time. And when they silence you, like, they don't even let you get mad. Because, like, when you get mad, they're like, oh, you're shouting again. And you're like, no, I'm super hurt. Like, so yeah, it would delete his iPhone.
I think like men like to call us crazy, and I think it's a red flag when a guy's like, oh yeah, I broke up with her because she's crazy. I'm like, yeah, you're probably doing something to drive her crazy, you know?
Totally.
And that's just a way when men have been hurting their ego, they can't deal and being a man and an adult, and they just like to call us like witch, or she's crazy, or she's a narcissist. Like, do you know how many guys like insulted me because I hurt their ego and I say the truth and I stand my ground?
100%.
And you know, they're so used to like, unfortunately, loads of women lost their standards and like they say amen to everything and they think it's right. And me, I'm like, no, I want to fight against injustice and like, inequalities. Like, it's not fine.
No.
You know, but then you are crazy when you're a woman and saying your opinion. Yeah. It's when you're a man saying your opinion, it's like, oh, he's a strong man. You say like, when you're a woman, it's like, oh, she's difficult. Even
She's
you know, when I
opinionated.
work, she's opinionated. When I work with like photographers or whatever, and I'm like, no, I don't like this or blah blah blah. It's like, oh, she's difficult to work with.
Yeah.
And it's
She
like, it
knows
would be
what
a
she wants.
man, it would be totally different.
And it's always like men not wanting to adopt female traits, but then us being asked, for example, right? Women, yeah, we're temperamental and we deal with it fine. It's how we operate. We're emotional beings. Why should we have a stoic approach to our emotions? Because that's what worked for male. Like,
Yeah,
no. Like,
exactly.
if I'm with a girlfriend, right, and we have to have a conversation, that girl will respect that conversation. She will be like, yeah, I know. I want to hear what you have to say. Men are just like, oh,
Can't be bothered.
I can't be bothered to listen to this. It's like every day you have a problem for something different. It's like, you know, like with my boyfriend now, he's a fucking angel. Like, sorry. But he's like super supportive. And I'm like, I go crazy, right? He laughs. He finds it hilarious, which is why we're together. Because if not. And so, you know, I start like screaming, right? And he just finds it super funny. But then, you know, I'm happy afterwards. And I tell him, do you see that my demands are not infinite?
Yeah.
I have a certain amount of demands of how I want things. And once those are fulfilled, happy days.
Happy days, yeah,
But I don't
exactly.
make trouble out of nothing. Because, you know, I've had it with so many guys that they were like, you get mad out of nothing. Like, for instance, today, right? I'm getting ready for the show. I'm doing my hair and makeup. It takes me like an hour and a half, right? On top of that, I have to come all the way to South London. And he lets a construction guy come into our flat because he's changing the radiators. And then he's in the room having a meeting. And I'm like, 3, 2, 1. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me it was coming in? And then, you know, he kind of realizes because you know what? And I said, that's the annoying things that women do. I would have been like, hey, where do you have to do your hair and makeup? Are you going to be doing it in the other room? Because the guy with the radiators is coming at 9. What time is your meeting? They think that's like a waste of time.
Yeah.
That's a waste of time, having those conversations about timing and about things. It's just like, oh, you text me again and again. Yeah, but then what happens? Neglection. And then
but we're very considerate
I'm
as
in my
women, that's the
row,
thing.
and the guy just walks in on me, and I'm just like, this is what happens, and I have to pay the price. Anyways, you know how it is.
Yeah.
They drive us crazy.
Drive us crazy.
I'll tell you what you said about a red flag. Any guy who says, my ex-girlfriend was crazy, and they kind of give you that vibe of like, I survived her. I'm like,
red flag.
I've heard enough. Bye.
Yes,
you're the problem, sweetie. Because you know what? If you actually did survive a crazy person, and if you actually did have the bad experience, and you're a noble, mature person, the last thing you do is go trash her name with a stranger. You're not bothered. You're like, I can talk about a million things today.
Yeah.
And also going up to a strange girl I've never met, and also that's my favorite thing, men who like to play the victim.
Yeah.
Because I think like anyone playing the victim, I'm not a fan. Like nobody's a victim of anything, okay? But men, they're just like, and then they tell you stories, and then my favorite is when they give you an example. They're like, oh, she was just like crazy. And you're like, like what? Well, one day she was just like, oh, I don't want to eat today.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, schizophrenia. She's
so
mental.
crazy. Yeah.
She's crazy. And then she didn't eat? No, she was eating my food. I said, but I can order it for you.
God, your accent is so good.
You're like, fuck off.
To me, a grown-ass man would just be like, it didn't work out. We didn't see like eye to eye or something.
No, we had
like
a good 4 years, but then we parted ways or whatever. And also, and if you do want to have a deep conversation about my ex, because maybe you and I are more serious, then we can go into depth of what I learned. But like, oh my God, when they, and also, I had it with my ex that he would call his ex-girlfriend like the B word, and he dumped her. I should have seen that. I walked past those red flags like the United Nations girl.
Sometimes we don't want to see it. We're just like, oh, let's pass it. And then you're like, here, I should have,
Yeah. What about dating nice guys? The guy who you broke their heart.
Do you know what? My last boyfriend was a really, really nice guy. We stayed together for like 1 year.
Yeah.
And I still feel terrible for the way I treated him, because I think I was toxic as F, like I was never happy. I was always complaining and that. Until to this day, like he has a girlfriend now, and I still text him and be like, I'm sorry for the way I treated you. He still responds to me and be like, don't worry, you're a good girl, I know you're gonna do well. And like, he still responds when he doesn't have to. Do you know how many ex-boyfriend I'm still waiting on closure, and they can't even apologize to me, and I still have him. But the problem is that he was a nice guy, but a very simple. He was a construction worker, like he didn't have many like debts or like trauma. He didn't have ambition, so I was a bit bored even in terms of conversation. But he was the sweetest guy to me, and he was not rich at all, but he would go out of his way to treat me like a princess. Like it was COVID, I was not working, he was still working. But I had this like weird thing of like walking alone. Like COVID did something crazy to my brain, I didn't want to be alone. Yeah. And then he would be like coming home like so tired, but he would still go to walk with me after work. It's just simple, silly things.
Oh my God, that's
like
a big
some
deal.
men would be like, I can't be bothered. It was so considerate and so sweet.
Yeah.
But usually like nice guys, I found them not very like passionate and not.
The best is what you want to know is like, why is this guy nice? Because he's desperate. That's the problem, right? It's like, are you nice because I'm the best thing that's ever happened to you? And that's...
I know, you wanted that. I don't think he was, to be fair.
Yeah?
Okay, but sometimes when men are like saying amen to everything that I say, and I'm like, do you say amen to everything that I say because you just want to have me as like a nice object? Or like
personality,
really, really nice. And then what you do, you trigger them. You do something they don't like, and then you see if they are a really nice person or if they're not. I love to do that. I cancel the first date.
Provoke.
To see you provoke. And you have to. Because the guys that say, I'm a nice guy, they're not nice.
No. But the problem is I don't need to try to provoke people. I just like go nuts. I just like snap at people. I'm so triggered. I think I'm like a I have like a hypersensitivity to everything, to like sound. It's like, imagine my brain is like autistic, so it's absorbing so much more information than the average person.
Okay.
So if somebody's like chewing loud or saying jokes that they're not funny or they're dressed inappropriately, I hear like, I need to do something. So let's talk about the book. I'm excited. So I haven't read it, and I'm dying to get a copy because I want to know more about, especially how you write from the first perspective. So one of the things that I found so great about the book, and again, it says so much about your unstoppable personality, is that with the story about publishing, so why don't you tell us a little bit about how it came to be? It's called Strip,
the Diary of a Hustler. So I always had a personal diary. Like
can we see the cover?
Yeah, of course. Why do I need to?
Oh my God, look at that, guys.
I'm so proud. That's my baby.
Why did you choose this picture? What does that say to you?
I hired a company, like an editor, so they did the editing of the book, and then they had a designer, and we just like pitch few ideas and that, and then they sent me the picture of that girl, and I was like, she's got death in her eyes. Like I like it. It's not me at all.
Yeah, she looks very dark.
But like I was like, I like it. It looks cool, you know.
Yeah. I'll show it over there. It's amazing. Yeah, it's a pretty big book as well. How many pages?
354, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite big. It's 10 years of my life, you know.
Wow. So
not 10, 28. Sorry.
Girl, how long did it take you to write it?
I'd say like a year.
Yeah.
A year and a half. You know, because when you write, you like go back and forth, and like you need to correct things, and then I was like, should I be anonymous? Should I not be anonymous? So like everything is true in this book, apart the fact because I was so like scared of the acting industry and that. So the only thing that's not true is that I say I want to become a singer. But I'm clearly not a singer. Like I'm the worst singer you can ever find. But like, and obviously I changed names and certain like situation and like places, so people like can't be recognized. Yeah. But if not, everything is true. So I always had a diary. And then like, I wanted to start YouTube for a long time, or a blog, and like people every time I would meet someone new, they're like, my God, your life is a story, like what the hell? And like it was in the back of my head, I was like, what should I do? And then I started stripping, and I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is too good. And I wanted to write like stripper stories. Yeah. And so that's why I started to write stripper stories and that. And then I met someone, I don't know if I can call him my ex-boyfriend, but someone I used to date.
My babe. He used to help me.
Yeah, he used to help me out big time, but it was really nice. And I sent him like the first like copy, and then he was like, this is really, really good. He was like, but you need to write about your childhood, when you were a teenager, when you came to the UK, so people can get empathy. So that's how it started to be like, not just a stripper thing, but like an entire autobiography of the first 28 years of my life.
That's amazing. So, and what about the writing? It's really hard to write a book, to write anything. I tried to do like journals and stuff, and sometimes I'm like nothing. How did you do a writing schedule?
Well, we were in lockdown. So it was so good, you know. I had time. I was not working night time, so I started to write before lockdown. To be fair, so I used to go to like.
So out of all the people who said I should write a book because of lockdown, she wrote it.
I did.
That's what's so impressive about you, honestly. That you just make things seem so easy.
Oh,
because you're like, I had free time on lockdown. Like, you know, people just ate and got fat, and you just had a book.
No, but like, let me go back on this. Like, nothing I do, it's easy. Maybe it looks easy, but like, I've been struggling for like the past 10 years in London, living in crappy apartment, like being rejected. Like, how many like model agency I applied, and it's like, no. I've got an acting agent, I don't even get like one casting. And it's the same with this book. I tried to go down the classic route to get like a publisher and an agent, and it was rejection after rejection. So like, nothing is easy, but like if I want to do something, if I want to experience something, if I want to go somewhere, I'll do it. Yeah. That's just me, you know. I don't want to wait. I don't want to be that person that wakes up at like 50 and be like, I should have done it.
You're amazing.
You know?
And what about like how would your writing days be? Did you have like no work at all, so it was just focused on the writing?
During lockdown, yeah. So literally I would like wake. It was like one of the best time of my life. I really like to write. Yeah. So I would just like wake up, do like my morning routine, like yoga or whatever, and then I would be like, okay, coffee, and then I would just write. Like literally, it's like there is a voice in my head. It's like me. It's like the way it's written is like the same. I'm talking to you. Yeah. So it's like what I'm telling to myself. Yeah. I just translate it into writing. So that's how, even like my ex-boyfriend from like 7 years ago read it. I didn't even know, and then he was like, I can recognize you so much. You make me laugh. You make me cry. And he was like, it's you. You're not pretending.
Did he find the book, or did he find it through you?
This is such like a crazy story. So that ex-boyfriend is that kind of boyfriend that I would never forget, and I think he would never forget me. You know, he was like 7 years ago. We're young, in love, crazy. Like, I never had any other guy like him ever, like after, you know. So anyway, we broke up 7 years ago, but after like the first 2 years after we broke up, he would always come back, and then we'd sleep together, and then and then we didn't speak for 5 years. Like literally it was like we didn't speak. I was like, you're a dick. Oh sorry, you're a dick. And I thought he was hating me as well. I thought he was looking down on me and that. And then so when I was anonymous, I created an Instagram for the book that I was not really promoting. I was not doing anything about it. But funny enough, the book Instagram got suggested for his Instagram.
Oh, I'll tell you, that's actually because of algorithm.
Yeah, because we're not in contact.
No, but you know what? They're horrible. They'll take it from your contacts. Do you have his number?
No, I didn't have his number. He didn't have mine. No. Well, but we had friends in common.
What about Diary of M? Does he follow Diary of M?
No, of course not. He's probably stalking
God
me.
knows. God
He's probably
knows.
stalking me.
God knows. He's a fan.
And so obviously on the pictures of my Instagram, you could not see my face or anything, but he was like, I recognize you straight away, and he got curious, so he clicked on the link, and then he was like, I need to read it. So he bought the book back in February.
Yeah.
And only in June this year, he contacted me to tell me like, congratulations, 5 years later.
Oh god, those love stories break my heart.
Yeah, so he's gonna be on like book.
Is that your real name, Lola?
No, that's not my real name.
love
I don't know why I picked this name. I
Don't tell anyone your real name. I wish I hadn't told anyone my real
I
name.
don't want people to know my real name.
I love that. Don't tell anybody. Just keep picking names.
Yeah.
Next one is Daisy. Love it. Let's do it.
My super name is Francesca.
Francesca, you look Italian.
I am half Italian.
Ah, no, but your accent is so cute.
Thank you, French.
So I want to go back to something that you said that it kind of made me think, and I think it kind of relates to just, you know, this emotional intelligence that you have and the way you tell your story through experiences and people. You said lockdown put me in a funny mental state. What happened?
I just got scared of everything. Like literally because I was in
Like
such
crazy
like
paranoia.
Crazy paranoia. So like I was in such a bubble in lockdown
Yeah.
that when we started to like go out again, I was people start to go crazy anyway after lockdown for some weird reason,
Yeah.
you know. So I was scared to just walking down the street. I was scared to take the underground. I was just like, it's like my mind changed as well. Even like the nightlife, I was not a fan anymore.
Yeah,
Even
you were
the-
scared of Ubers, right?
I'm petrified of Uber still to this day, and like I don't like.
Do they
them.
know you're a stripper? Is that why they harass you or what?
They don't. I've never been harassed, but I just don't trust them. You know, like when
They're
they pick you
horrible.
up from the strip club and it's like, oh, do you work there? Like,
Really?
oh, how's your night? And I'm like, I don't work there. Literally, they pick me up from the strip club and I'm like, I don't work there. I'm being like full on B face, you know. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to interact with them because you don't know like how men's brains work. You know, they're gonna get excited or whatever.
And they're also
you know?
so weird because no offense, most of them are Muslims, which they have this really weird relationship with taboo sex and whatever. It's like Dubai is the perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
It's like on the one hand you can't drink, but then everybody's there is naked. So it's like, guys, pick a side. Are you into sex or are you out?
Yeah,
Like, don't start like, you know,
I know. It's
you're
just,
you're still a Uber driver and you should just be professional.
Yeah, be
you're
professional.
working, I'm not. Take me home.
I mean, to be fair, it's got nothing to do with religion, but you know,
No, no,
I know what you mean. But I had even like white guys or whatever. But it's just they have, I don't know. To me,
They're
Uber don't
creepy.
even control them. They don't
No.
check their background, and I feel like that's so wrong. You
They're
know,
creepy. They're super creepy.
they're
yeah.
very creepy. And if you think
I'm
about it, you're in the back
actually-
of a car of a stranger.
Yeah, I'm actually insane because I actually will fight them when they do anything. Like a guy will tell me like, "Don't knock the door, yeah. Don't bang the door," and I'm like, "You think I want to get in a car with somebody who talks to me like that? You crazy lady!" One guy asked me like, "You're not normal. You're not normal." But yeah, I go crazy on Ubers.
Yeah.
Part of my temper.
They're
They're a
I
bit weird.
understand you.
So like because I'm really I kind of related to what you said about being in a dark headspace because something happened to me too.
Oh,
So I had a traumatic breakup. Like the one that, you know, like how people describe war, right? That it's like just total poverty of the spirit, just
Yeah.
a state of darkness. Like there's just no hope and just like your serotonin levels lower
Yes,
and you're in survival mode. So I had a really bad breakup at the end of 2020 and then I went back home and literally like just the betrayal, the heartbreak, the oh my god, it was like I've been heartbroken before, but I didn't
not
know
like
it got
that.
worse.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought it was just kind of that's as bad as it gets, and you're gonna solve. So yeah, I was feeling dark inside my head, and I've been to weddings, parties, beach. Like you look at my Instagram, and it looks like
fantastic.
yeah, it looks like I was the happiest. But I remember just honestly inside my head, it was a horrible place. And I think that happened to a lot of people.
A lot of
so I'm not
people,
surprised.
yeah.
Where were you emotionally at the time?
To be fair, lockdown was okay. It was after lockdown.
2021.
Like, yeah, when we all came out, and I felt like London was weird. I didn't vibe with the same people anymore.
Weird.
Even like going to like the places I used to go, I'm like, what is that matter? You know, I think I just had a bit of like a spiritual awakening, and it was the same as you. You know, it's funny, and I always tell the truth to people. They're like, oh, you seem to do amazing. You look so good. Oh, your life is amazing. I was like, don't believe the gram.
No.
I'm depressed as F. Last year, before, so like September 2021 until June 2022, I was a complete mess. No desire for anything, no desire for acting or writing or meditation or doing anything. I was literally, I just wanted to be in bed and watch movies So yeah, the after lockdown was really, really hard for me.
I had a really hard time with London as well, because I think cities like London and New York are the ones that change the most.
They suffer.
Because they are so packed, and like so much of what we do is about social status, right?
Yeah.
I remember before the pandemic, like which clubs I could get into, which restaurants I went to, how I dressed. It was all about, I'm like, oh, these people, that people, this place, oh, I know this person. That just disappeared.
Yeah.
And then it's just this island that looks like a swamp. And then slowly, it was so weird and mixed. I remember like, you know, this whole thing about the reservations because of COVID, it really mixed the crowds. And in London, we're about, you know, status. You want to be with the crowd that you want to be with. If not, it's a jungle. And and then the fact that I left for so long because I went traveling and I went back home. And I came back and I was like, where's my London? That made me feel so homeless. Because it takes, you know, you make the place you live a home, and that takes work and you know, you
a long time.
It took a long time. So I was like, I'm not coming back to London. I'm definitely not going back to Uruguay. And I'm like, where am I going to live?
I feel exactly the same right now. London is not where it used to be. London is not as cool. No, it's still not. It's better, but it's not like people are going crazy now. Like I feel like I left France for a reason. Like so I'm from Marseille, and it's very unsafe, especially for female. And you know, like people are crazy, and I feel like London is becoming like that. And I'm like, no, I mean, it's still way safer than France.
No, of course.
But I feel like it's becoming like that, and people are like becoming crazy and agitated and angry and not polite, and there's more and more like druggies people. Like even just this morning coming here, like it's like it was 11 and people were already like completely out of their head, and I'm like, why, you know?
No, and also it's kind of like I used to think London was glamorous and rich, and everywhere I went to, you know, coming from Uruguay, everybody was like, oh my god, you go to like such fancy places. Even my gym was kind of bougie. And now I went to Uruguay and I'm like, London is falling to pieces. Like Uruguay is nicer. At least you've got nature there. Like, I feel like, there's a huge crisis, and it shows.
And it's still really expensive. It's more expensive than before. And I'm like, why should I pay so much money when I'm not even safe? It's so much pollution. Like, I don't live in a crappy apartment, but loads of people, you pay loads of money for what? And it's like, you know, you go places to Finland, people are like, oh yes, Scandinavian country is so expensive. Yeah, but it's expensive for a reason. They've got nice air, they've got nice people, it's very safe. I was alone in Helsinki, I've never been there, and I was walking down the street like it's on the place, you know? And as a female, you know, men don't even dare looking at you, you know? And you feel so good, and have good quality of life, even if it's not very sunny. So there is a reason why it's expensive. And then I'm like, why should I pay so much?
No, it makes
for
no sense.
What? There is no sense.
No, it
makes
no sense. It makes no sense. And I think the quality of life is just bad. And this goes to both, like, the consequences of the crisis. It's like, I'm paying crazy price. I made that choice. I said, I'm coming back to London, and I'm just going to suffer the consequences of the economical crisis. But it's awful. It's like we're paying twice, like, or a third more for, like, the worst life. Like, if I wasn't so busy with work, I'd be crazy. That's why I'm, like, you know, going to the gym and I pay, like, I was going to Virgin Active, and I found that depressing, and then I had to change to Third Space, because I was like, Third Space a vibe. But you gotta, and then you fall so much into capitalism, right? Because you're like, if I don't see the results of my investment of being in a city where there's no sun, all I do is work, right? Like, at least I have to have shiny things. And
literally, and me, if I was not into the acting or writing or whatever, I would not be in London. Because you feel like I'm kind of stuck, you know? If I were like doing the acting industry or like that type of industry, you either have to be in New York, LA, Paris, or London. But if I didn't like all those things, I'll be in the countryside somewhere, to be fair.
Literally. I just can't wait to make so much money that I can do both.
Me too!
So I always wanted like the dinner party at the country villa. With all the city people, like the designers or whatever.
The Range Rover, the dogs.
Yeah, exactly. The wonderful man, the kids, everything. The great body. Perfect. Bueno, we're gonna wrap up here, but it's been such a delight to have you. Do you know what?
So good.
I could see through your content and see that you're a very special and wonderful girl.
I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you think there is a difference that you've seen my content and you've seen me in real life?
Yeah.
Any difference? Any like was it you expected?
I'll tell you what though, you're a lot more approachable in person. You do look a bit more like you know, like kind of mean. Not mean, but you know what I mean?
On social?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You definitely look a lot more like serious, right? You're
okay.
just so sweet, right? And on social media, I think it's like more like you've got a great sense of humor and it's very witty and you're so quick. And then sometimes the shots of yourself and your remarks are a bit like, I think that's also the French language.
Oh, yeah.
French is always like, it kind of sounds negative when you translate it to English, but in French it's kind of how they talk.
Just honest.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think especially like if from America or
Yeah.
England, you know, that's why I don't really have like American or English girlfriends.
Yeah.
Because to them I'm too much of a dude. I'm too much of, but you're very straightforward to
Yeah,
be fair.
yeah.
You're very like okay, but like with like English female or
they're
like
impossible.
American, it's like oh my god, it's so rude, and I'm like I'm not rude, I'm
No,
honest.
no. But I don't think you come off as rude. I think you come off as like, you know, like Eastern Europeans that they've got this kind of very
Strong. It's
yeah,
like
but like
it's
kind of dark.
blunt.
Yeah.
Blunt,
Yeah, but
yeah.
you're just like, you know, you're like a flower. You
Oh.
literally look like a pink rose. If
Oh,
you were,
stop it.
this is like your kind of, if you were an object.
If I was an object,
But yeah,
okay,
it was so nice to have you. I think
Thank you
you'll
so
come back
much.
anytime to either of our shows. Anything you want to say before we go?
Follow me on TikTok and social
Yeah,
media on
say it
YouTube.
again. Well, guys, thank you so much. It's been a delight. And remember, we're here every Monday from 12 to 2 p.m. at lovethebeitradio.co.uk. It's not me, it's you. Bye.
Bye.